Imagine coming home to find your backyard invaded. Your late wife's handmade pool half-drained like some petty thief's midnight heist. And the culprit smirking at you with a phone in hand. Recording your shock as if it were her twisted trophy. That's the nightmare that slammed into Alex Harper's life one blistering afternoon in suburban Evergreen Grove. Where the HOA rules weren't just guidelines, they were weapons wielded by a queen bee who thought community meant her personal playground. Alex Harper had always been the quiet type. The guy who nodded politely at block parties and kept his lawn trimmed just enough to avoid the HOA's eagle eyes. He'd bought the house in Evergreen Grove 5 years back. Right after his wife, Lena, passed from a sudden illness that left him hollowed out and clinging to the few pieces of her that remained. The pool was one of them, a sparkling blue oasis she designed herself. Pouring concrete with her own hands during weekends. Laughing about how it would be their eternal summer spot. It sat squarely in their backyard. Fenced off with Lena's initials etched into a corner tile. A private memorial that shimmered under the sun like a whispered promise. But in a neighborhood where the HOA micromanaged everything from mailbox colors to the height of hedges. Peace was just a facade waiting to crack. The trouble started innocently enough. Or so it seemed. Alex noticed the whispers first, neighbors side-eyeing him at the mailbox. Murmuring about that eyesore pool and how it blocked the view for the cul-de-sac. He shrugged it off. Figuring it was just small-town gossip. Then came the first notice. Slipped under his door like a coward's confession, violation, unauthorized structure encroaching on community easement. Fine, $200. He stared at the paper. Chuckling bitterly. Encroaching? The pool was 6 inches inside his property line. Per the deed he'd double-checked after Lena's death. But there it was. Signed by Patricia Klein, HOA president. A woman who'd clawed her way to the top by turning bylaws into her personal vendetta machine. Patricia, Pat to her friends, but that HOA Karen to everyone else, was the epitome of suburban superiority. Mid-50s. With a bob haircut sharper than her tongue. She patrolled the streets in her golf cart. Clipboard in lap. Doling out citations like candy at a parade. It's for the greater good, she'd coo at meetings. Her voice dripping with false sweetness. All while fining folks for bird feeders that attracted vermin or garbage cans left out a minute past curfew. Alex had seen her in action once. Berating a young couple for planting tulips in the wrong shade of red. But he stayed silent. Observing from his porch. Noting how her concern always masked a hunger for control. Little did she know. Alex wasn't the pushover she pegged him for, he was a retired surveyor. Sharp-eyed and patient. The kind who mapped out problems before they even knew they were lost. One crisp morning, Patricia showed up unannounced. Her heels clicking on his driveway like tiny declarations of war. She had 2 bored lackeys in tow. One clutching a tape measure like it was Excalibur. "Mr. Harper," she said. Flashing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We're here for a routine inspection. Your pool's been flagged for potential shared access issues." Alex leaned against his doorframe. Arms crossed. "Flagged by who?" "It's on my land." "Pat. Deed says so." She waved her clipboard dismissively. "Oh. Honey. Deeds can be so outdated. Our updated survey shows a slight overlap, about 6 inches. That makes it partially ours. For the community. You understand." Her tone was all honeyed concern. But her eyes gleamed with that predatory glint. Like she'd just spotted a weakness to exploit. Alex felt a flicker of irritation but kept his cool. "Show me this survey." Patricia's smile tightened. "HOA documents are confidential. Mr. Harper. But trust me. It's all above board." One of her minions hesitated. Glancing at the fence. "Ma'am, this doesn't look like common area." She shot him a glare that could wilt grass. "It is when it's leaching chemicals into our shared soil." "Measure it anyway, for the report." As they poked around his gate, Patricia's gaze lingered on Lena's etched tile. "That personal engraving? Cute. But it'll have to come out. No memorials on association property." Alex's jaw clenched. But he said nothing, watching her strut away, heels echoing her victory lap. Inside, he seated, not just at the audacity, but at how she twisted community into her ego trip. That night, he pulled out Lena's old blueprints, her handwriting a ghost on the page, and noticed something odd, a faint notation under the pool's foundation, labeled Secure Vault, Legacy. His heart skipped. What had she buried there? The fines piled up like unwanted junk mail: $500 for obstructing amenities, another $300 for improper fencing. Alex stacked them on his kitchen counter, each one a mocking reminder of Patricia's power play. But the whispers turned to outright smears, neighbors gossiping that he was hoarding the pool out of spite, that he was unstable since Lena's death. One evening, he overheard a couple at the park. "Pat says he's hiding something illegal under there. Why else lock it up?" Alex bit his tongue. But inside, he cataloged every lie, every manipulation. Patricia was masterful at it, rallying the board with tales of upholding standards while her real fear simmered, losing her throne if anyone questioned her iron-fisted reign. Then came the probing. Late one night, Alex's motion lights flickered on, illuminating shadows darting near the fence. He grabbed a flashlight, heart pounding, and caught a glimpse of someone tampering with the gate latch, screws half loosened, like a botched burglary. "Who's there?" he called, voice steady despite the adrenaline. The figure bolted, but he recognized the golf cart retreating down the street. Patricia's. The next day, he confronted her at the HOA meeting, where she sat primly at the head table, gavel in hand. "Someone tried breaking into my yard last night," he said calmly. Eyes locked on hers. The room hushed. Patricia feigned shock, hand to her chest. "Oh, dear. That's awful. Probably kids. We've had reports of vandalism. But while we're on the topic, Mr. Harper, your locked gate is a safety hazard. What if there's an emergency?" A few nods from her cronies. But Alex saw the cracks, nervous glances, whispered doubts. "Funny how the vandalism started after your inspection," he replied, his tone laced with just enough sarcasm to sting. She banged the gavel a tad too hard. Moving on. Next item, pool compliance. As the meeting droned, Alex smiled inwardly. She was getting sloppy, her control freak facade slipping into outright desperation. He enlisted help from Jamie, a neighbor's kid fresh out of law school, who pored over the fines with wide eyes. "This is bogus," Jamie muttered. "Their survey doesn't match the county plat, someone's redrawn lines." Alex nodded. "And I bet I know who." They dug deeper, uncovering Patricia's updates to HOA maps, conveniently expanding common areas to include slivers of private lots, hers included. Funnily enough, for her oversized gazebo. But the real kicker was Lena's blueprint hint. That night, Alex drained a foot of water, probing the foundation. Under the drain hatch, fresh scratches marred a sealed metal panel. Someone had tried prying it open. His blood ran cold. Patricia wasn't just after control, she suspected something valuable. Perhaps from rumors Lena had let slip about safeguarding assets. Alex resealed it, adding a camera, and whispered to the empty yard. Game on. Pat. Tensions boiled over when Alex returned from a quick errand to find his gate ajar and the pool pump roaring. Water gushing out like a defeated sigh. There stood Patricia. Phone aloft. Filming the chaos with a triumphant smirk. What in God's name? Alex barked. Dropping his bags. She didn't flinch. Documenting the leak. Mr. Harper. Complaints came in, your faulty system is contaminating community groundwater. As president, I'm obligated to intervene. Her voice was all faux duty. But her eyes danced with glee. You trespassed. That's a crime. She pocketed her phone. Adjusting her sunglasses. The gate was unlocked, another violation. I'm afraid. Safety first. Alex's fists clenched. But he held back. Noting the muddied footprints matching her heels. Turn it off. Or I'll call the cops myself. She laughed lightly. A sound like nails on chalkboard. Go ahead. They'll side with order over obstruction. As she sauntered off. Leaving the pool half empty and exposed. Alex felt the laugh and rage bubble up, her absurdity so cartoonish. Yet so infuriating. Cops arrived. Officer Ruiz looking exasperated. Again. Miss Klein? Patricia played victim, he's hostile. Officer. All for a silly pool. Ruiz sighed. Taking notes. But whispered to Alex. Get a lawyer. This smells fishy. As they left. Patricia shot back. Boundaries matter. Mr. Harper. Yours are crumbling. Alex stared at the drain mess. Chuckling darkly. Oh. The irony, her preaching boundaries while stomping all over his. That violation ignited Alex's counterstrike. With Jamie's help, they subpoenaed county records. Revealing Patricia's doctored maps, falsified to snag developer deals. Funneling HOA dues into her family's pockets for upgrades that never happened. But the ace was under the pool. Late that night. Under cover of darkness. Alex fully drained it. Climbing in with tools. The metal panel pried open with a groan. Revealing a waterproof box, Lena's legacy. Inside, documents. Flash drives. Ledgers exposing years of HOA embezzlement. Including Patricia's signatures on shady transfers. Lena. Ever the vigilant one. Had volunteered as treasurer before her illness and stashed proof. Suspecting foul play. Clever girl, Alex murmured. Tears mixing with chlorine residue. Patricia had sniffed it out from old meeting minutes. Her greed driving the obsession. Now. Armed with this. Alex felt the tide turn, hilarity in how her digging unearthed her own grave. The HOA hearing was Patricia's coliseum. But Alex turned it into her circus. She presided smugly. Banging her gavel. Mr. Harper. Your repeated noncompliance threatens our harmonious community. Murmurs of agreement from her puppets. Alex stood. Projecting Lena's blueprints onto the wall. Harmonious? Like how you've redrawn maps to steal land. Gasps rippled. Jamie laid out the evidence, falsified plats. Embezzled funds, $50,000 siphoned for personal amenities. Patricia's face drained of color. Her voice shrill. Lies. This is slander. But the box's contents sealed it, emails from her account. Bragging about expanding assets. Neighbors erupted, you find us while lining your pockets? One board member resigned on the spot. Patricia stammered. It was for the greater good, order requires sacrifice. Alex leaned in. Voice dripping sarcasm, your sacrifice. Or ours. Looks like you sacrificed ethics for a bigger backyard. The room laughed. A cathartic release as her mask shattered. Her lurching excuses exposing the ridiculous tyrant beneath. Court was the final dunk. Patricia's lawyer blustered about clerical errors, but Jamie dismantled him with Lena's proof. The auditor testified, unauthorized rezoning. Signed by Klein. Witnesses piled on, ex-board members spilling about her bullying. The developer kickbacks. Patricia exploded, I brought structure to this chaos. He was hoarding that pool. The judge silenced her, structure? This is fraud. Verdict, pool private. HOA audited. Patricia fined $100,000. Stripped of position. She stormed out, muttering threats. But her empire crumbled, neighbors applauding as Alex exited. The box under his arm like a trophy. Dark humor hit when a reporter quipped. From draining pools to draining bank accounts, poetic justice. In the aftermath, Evergreen Grove breathed easier. Alex refilled the pool. Hosting a voluntary barbecue where kids splashed freely, his choice. Not mandate. The new HOA board rewrote rules, emphasizing fairness over fear. Patricia vanished. Rumored to be fighting lawsuits in obscurity. Her golf cart sold at auction. Alex floated in the water one evening. Lena's tile glinting below. He'd endured smears. Invasions. But emerged wiser. The neighborhood transformed. Peace wasn't in rigid bylaws, but in exposing the hypocrites who hid behind them. So, was Alex the villain for locking his memorial? Or was Patricia the real encroacher? Twisting community into control? You tell me, who's the true HOA horror here?